Hello, my name is Elise, and I'm going to show you how to set the Python path on your Mac so that you can start programming your Now robot using Python. In order to do this, Python needs to know exactly where to look to find all of your preset Now SDK modules, which should be a giant package that you downloaded from the Aldebaran website with a lot of Python words in it. You should already know where you saved this, but it doesn't matter if you don't. Go ahead and go to Spotlight and search Naoqi. And you should be able to find it. It's a folder, Naoqi, Python 2.7, 2.1.2, etc. Okay, right click on that, open and closing folder, and now you know exactly where it is. So I can right click on this name up here and see the entire hierarchy of folders that it is stored in. So here's my username, airlab4. Inside my user account, there is a folder called desktop, and inside desktop there's a folder called Now Software, and inside that there is this folder which contains my SDK. Alright, now I can make a path knowing all that information. So my user account is represented by a tilde. Alright, that squiggly line, that's my user account. Your user account will be represented by the same thing even though it's a different username. Then I can create the path based on this hierarchy, putting a slash between every folder name. So slash desktop slash now software slash this whole deal, which I don't want to type out, so I'm going to click on it, copy, and paste it right here. Your path is going to look different depending on the folders you have to navigate to. Just remember, you start out with your user folder, then go to the next folder and the next until you get to this folder and put that on the end. If you happen to have any spaces in your path, make sure and put a backslash before the space. That tells it that the path doesn't end right here. You got to keep going past the space to hit the end of the path. Okay, so now that we have the path to your SDK, we need some way of telling Python that every time you refer to a Now module, a Naoqi module, you're referring to something in that folder at that location. So we're going to set the Python path in a hidden folder that Python refers to every time it starts looking for these things. For that, we're going to open up Terminal. So let's go to Applications, Utilities, Terminal. All right. Your login might look a little bit different. Mine starts out with airlab4 because that's my username. And this is just telling me that I am hanging out in my user folder. So for instance, here I am in Finder in my home folder. All right, this is my home folder and this is my home folder. In order to see all the files and folders I have in my home folder, I type in ls. But what I'm interested in modifying is not one of these guys. I want to modify a hidden file. So to see it, I'm going to type in ls space -a. All these files with periods in front of them are hidden folders, and they're usually hidden for good reason. They're system files and stuff. But the one we're going to mess with is perfectly fine to mess with. It's called .profile. It's okay if you don't have a .profile folder. This next command will create one if you don't already have it. We're going to type in open space .profile. Okay? That will open up a text file. If it has something in it already, don't worry, just don't type over it. Now we're going to type in some commands here that tell Python where to look when we want it to search for Naoqi modules. And what we're going to type in is this: export, all caps, PythonPath, no space, equals, $, curly brace, PythonPath again, end curly brace, colon, and then we're just going to copy in this whole path that you created before. Okay? That's the first one. Fairly easy. The next one is very similar. We're going to go export. Now we're going to say dyld underscore library underscore path, no space, equals, $, curly brace, dyld underscore library underscore path, end curly brace, colon, and that same exact path that you just made. All right, make sure you save this, and then you can exit out of it, and then you need to go to terminal and also exit terminal. Just close the window to be utterly sure, all right? Then you're going to want to, in fact, open up terminal again in order to test whether or not setting this Python path worked. To do that, we're going to go to idle. Just type in idle in your terminal window, press enter, and you're going to start with a Python shell. And in order to test whether PythonPath worked, we're going to see if we get any errors when we try to import Naoqi, which is a module in the SDK that our PythonPath points to. No errors, so it worked just fine. If you did get errors, my first suggestion is to go back to that path and read through it very carefully. Make sure that all your spaces are preceded by backslashes. Make sure your home folder is a tilde. You've got forward slashes between all of your folders. All of your folders are spelt exactly right, including capitalization, including this last crazy folder. And that every folder is contained within each other folder. So this folder is contained within that folder, is contained within that folder, etc. If you need to, go to your home folder in Finder and just navigate to it. Desktop, now software, there's my SDK, okay? Just to make sure that you've got the path exactly right. Then, if that doesn't do it, go back to terminal, open up your .profile file again, and make sure that you spelled those commands exactly right. If both of those things don't do it, and again, remember to exit out of terminal and reopen it every time before you check. If both of those fixes don't do it, then your problem is beyond the scope of this tutorial, and I suggest you consult Google, Stack Exchange, or just call us at the Air Lab. So thank you, and I hope you can get to programming with Naoqi very soon.